Welcome again to Atlanta News First Sports Plus, or Atlanta News First Plus Sports Tonight. Along with producer Scott Pennyman, I'm Fred Kalil. We've got our topics. Let's get started right away, Scotty. The Hawks make some deadline moves at the trade deadline. Talk a little bit about that, okay? What the guy that did not get traded, of course, was John Collins.
Yeah, it's You there, Freddie?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's kind of what was expected, right? I mean, everyone kind of thought John Collins was an important piece, that he was going to be maybe a draft piece, a trade piece,
right,
at the deadline here. But he's staying put. Look, I think it's a good. I never felt that the problems with the Hawks so far this season were related to personnel anyway.
No.
I feel like the personnel on the team is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, John Collins has been a solid performer. I mean, he's been a good presence inside. You know,
Right.
I mean, to go with Clint Capella. You know, I mean, for the first time in a long time, the Hawks have two decent big guys underneath. You know, to do a little work.
Right, and I just kind of look at, like I say, I look at their team. I've looked at their roster the whole season. They've kind of been hovering around the 500 mark.
Right.
I never watched that team and felt like they weren't that this was about personnel.
Right.
I felt from day one when you look at the pieces and parts on the Hawks roster, it's more about, I think, do they gel together? And
Team chemistry.
Team chemistry.
Team chemistry is always big.
The chemistry right now just doesn't seem right. So I don't think a trade was necessarily in the best interest of anybody as far as big pieces, like,
Right.
They made some small piece trades.
Sure.
But I mean, like big pieces like John Collins or Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, any one of those guys, because I think that what's important right now is let's just get chemistry with the guys who they have. Before you start trading for more guys outside, now you have to get chemistry with those guys. I just felt like the best thing for them to do was to kind of just stand pat and stay put.
Well, I mean, there's no way that DeJounte Murray or Trae Young
Right.
going anywhere, man.
Right.
At least not for a couple more years. All right, let's move on now, okay? So our second topic, Kevin Durant traded to the Phoenix Suns. So all of a sudden, the Suns now are the favorite to win the Western Conference, just like that, with Kevin Durant showing up in the Valley of the Sun.
Wow. Think about that one, man. I mean, just think this time last week. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, both those guys were in Brooklyn.
They were building that super team, weren't they? Weren't they building that super team?
They had a super team
What happened?
They had a super team going in Brooklyn, and now all of a sudden, here we are. Both those guys are in a Western Conference.
Yeah.
Western Conference rivals now with the Mavericks and with the Suns, and it's just kind of hard for me to just fathom right now. Just two, I guess you could say, franchise-changing players from a standpoint. Both of these guys have been high-level players, have performed on a high level, at the highest level in NBA Finals. They've both been key pieces for their teams to win championships, and now they're out west, and they're looked at to be key pieces again for different championship teams. It's really kind of crazy.
Well, you remember that the pandemic delayed the Olympics by 1 year, so Devin Booker and Kevin Durant were on that gold medal team in 2021 at the Olympics for the USA, and I think that's where they kind of formed a bond, and they kind of, were probably talking amongst themselves, trying to get something worked out to where they could play together, and now it did. So we'll see what happens with the Phoenix Suns in the West now. As I said, a lot of people, Las Vegas, already installing the Suns as the favorite to win the West, but there's still a long way to go.
I mean, how could you not?
We're not even at the All-Star game yet, are we? All-Star break, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah.
Just think, how could you not? When you look at starting lineups, as far as the NBA, just from a personnel standpoint, the starting lineup that the Phoenix Suns have might be one of the best starting lineups we've seen since the Golden State Warriors. When you figure you have Chris Paul, Hall of Fame point guard, who's still playing pretty solid ball.
Yeah.
You have Devin Booker, who's in the prime of his career. You have Kevin Durant, who's still, even in his 30s, one of the great scorers in the game. You have DeAndre
and he's 7
Ayton
feet tall.
Right. You have DeAndre Ayton playing center. I mean, this is one of the best starting lineups in the NBA. You would think that they would vault right to the top of the championship picture. But of course, we've seen these super teams it not go as smoothly as it should. So,
what about the one he just came from, right?
Yeah.
That he just came from. They've been trying to build that.
Right.
And that was like a big stinker right there. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. We can look at paper all day long and say this is what should happen. This is what
these
should
stats
happen.
go here. These stats go here.
This team should compete for championships. They have Kevin Durant. They have probably 3 or 4 no less than three guys in their starting lineup who are headed for the Hall of Fame one day. So it's easy to look at their lineup and go, this team should be, they're destined for You got to put them in the NBA Finals. But we've seen these super teams fall apart before. I mean, even look at Miami when LeBron and D Wade and Bosh, those guys went there. They won 2 out of 4. I mean, winning 2 out of 4 was really good, but it really wasn't the dominance that we expected. So I think that, we should, at least as of right now, just sort of temper our expectations as far as what we think Phoenix can be. But I think if everything goes as they would plan, I mean, that should be a pretty unstoppable force of a starting lineup.
Well, we'll see. All right, now winners and losers at the trade deadline. The Lakers got younger, man. They got D'Angelo Russell and Malik Beasley, who, by the way, is from Atlanta.
Nice.
Played his high school ball at St. Francis up in Alpharetta.
Sure.
All right, now those 2 guys can shoot. They should open it up for LeBron and AD, right? I mean, those 2 guys, they should.
They should, man.
Again, on paper, they should.
That's one of those things, again, on paper, Fred, because, I mean, they had Russell Westbrook, who I guess was never a really good fit from as far as how he likes to play the game. It was never a good fit for the Lakers, but you look at, I don't really know, man. I mean, just how many times in LeBron James' career? Look, I've said it before. I love LeBron James.
Yeah.
He's one of the.
Well, you're from Cleveland, right? So
I'm from Cleveland.
And so you've seen him.
Yeah, I've had a front row seat at LeBron James' career for the last 20 years. He's one of my favorite and one of the top two or three players I've ever seen play the game of basketball. But how many times, how many situations has he been in where they've had to change the roster maybe mid-season and put 6 or 7 new parts around him in order to get things to work? I don't know, man. I'm not sold that. I think D'Angelo Russell, he's a really good player, but I don't know, man.
Can LeBron bring their level of play up? That's the key. He's supposed to be the superstar. He's the king.
Yeah.
He should be able to bring their level up to.
I think that's kind of how it used to be with LeBron James when he was in his mid-20s and 30s, when he was in Cleveland, when he was in Miami. I think he used to be able to raise the level of the guys around him to play better than what they really were. I'm not so sure that's LeBron in 2023. He's 38 years old, still a very exciting player, still a great scorer, one of the great players we have in the game today still, but I don't know that he still has that element about him that can raise the level of guys around him and make ordinary Joes better or make good players look great. I don't know that he still has that in him or has that ability, which is fair. He's 38 years old. He probably shouldn't have that ability still, but I just don't know right now, even with that trade. I mean, like you said, the Lakers pretty much overhauled their roster.
Right. Well, I mean, they're not going to be, they're not going to be like the Lakers of old. I mean, he passed Kareem, but they're not going to have a team like Kareem, man. They're going to have like Kareem, Magic, Worthy, Michael Cooper coming off the bench. They're not going to have that. That's over, man. He was the man.
Yeah, Coop.
He was the man on that Showtime team.
Yeah, I just, I think this Lakers team I think they will get to the playoffs. That's one thing, and that's a strong. I wouldn't think that would be a strong take given a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis on it, but I do think that they will get to the playoffs.
They better. Talking about the top 8?
Yeah, well, if they can maybe squeeze into that play-in, I think they have enough firepower on their roster where I think they will get at least a play-in spot. Wow. But the West is loaded. I mean, just think about it.
Well, you got the Suns right now. The Suns are really loaded. They're the favorite, as we said.
Right.
You've got Durant, who's been an 3-time MVP, right? Top 3 MVP candidate this season.
Yeah.
The Suns traded 4 first-round picks to make this happen. 4 first-round picks.
And just think about it.
So no green bananas in Phoenix, baby.
Right. And we haven't even talked about the Mavericks, who picked up Kyrie Irving this week to play with Luka Doncic. I mean, just think about how good Luka Doncic is, because
you got Luka.
For the last couple of years, he's been taking his team, like last season, they made the conference finals against Golden State, took a couple games from, I think they took either 1 or 2 games from Golden State. And so Luka really did that like by himself.
Pretty much.
So now just put a dynamic player like Kyrie Irving beside him.
Who can feed him, right?
And with his championship level experience, Kyrie Irving, he had probably one of the biggest shots in NBA history in the NBA Finals a few years ago. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be a team. And oh, by the way, the Golden State Warriors are the defending NBA champions.
Yes, again, yeah. So now, is the loser at the trade deadline maybe John Collins? Because, I mean, he's seen his role kind of shrink a little bit.
Yeah.
He's not getting the shine that he was. Not getting all that time. But they floated his name for 3 years, man, and they never moved him. So what are your thoughts on that? Because I mean, like we said, we like John Collins. We went through that already.
Right.
And so he's probably the loser at this trade deadline, don't you think?
So you calling John? You calling JC the loser of the?
Well, I mean, he didn't get traded. He was going to get traded and he didn't. So I guess loser is a bad word. But see, our thing says here winners and losers at the trade deadline. So I had to go by what our graphic says.
Yeah, yeah. I'm thinking about teams like, I mean, definitely, you know, if you think about John Collins, he probably wanted to go play for a contender. Right. You know, I heard last night Phoenix was one of the teams that had some interest in John Collins before they made
that would have been great for him.
The move for Kevin Durant. But I'm thinking about teams like Miami, teams like that, who they were knocking at the door a couple years ago. They were in the NBA Finals, and they've kind of been regressing since then. And so when I look at a team like that, they didn't really make any power moves in the Eastern Conference, which I think right now when you look at it, it kind of can be had, right? I mean, when you think about Boston, you think Milwaukee is at the top. Those are probably the two best teams in the East, probably Philly right behind them with being the third best team.
Right.
So I think there was an opportunity for a team like Miami if they were, if they were able to make a deal to move up. But I don't really think they really made that sort of a strong push. And even look at the Hawks. I mean, maybe there was an opportunity there for them to make a move and kind of move up.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't see him doing a whole lot. I mean, I can't see him making a deep run into the playoffs. Can you?
No. And
I mean, that's going to be tough for them.
And it's really more so based on how they've played. Again, when it comes to the Hawks, it's not about personnel.
No.
I think man for a man, they're as good as any
chemistry.
team in the Eastern Conference, if not the NBA.
Chemistry.
It just hasn't looked good on the court from a chemistry standpoint, and I don't know what that is. Is it coaching? I don't know.
Okay, next topic. Bears shopping the #1 overall pick.
Right.
Be careful, all right? Be careful what you wish for on the, when the Bears shop the overall pick. Here's what I'm going to go back, Scott, I'm going to go back like 33 years now.
33 years.
All right? I'm sitting in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And the Colts actually made a deal with the Falcons for the #1 overall pick.
Yes.
They traded Andre Rison, Chris Hinton, Steve Broussard. He was the draft pick, the first-round pick. So those two guys, a first-round pick for the #1 overall pick and the rights to draft Jeff George.
Oh, Jeff George, man, one of the greats, right? Yeah.
And it just never really panned out. So the Bears shopping that #1 overall pick, if they could get a deal like the Colts got, I mean like the Falcons got, because that really has got to be one of the best trades in Falcons history because it put the Falcons in the playoffs the next year. I mean, 1991 was really a good season for the Falcons. They were a playoff team, and that might, it might, if the Bears can, get a lot for that. Who knows?
Yeah, and I think we're kind of looking at the Bears, right? When you look at the Bears situation, I think we kind of all expect them to trade that because generally teams picking #1 overall, they're looking for a quarterback. Well, the Bears probably aren't looking for that because I think they feel good about Justin Fields.
You think so? Yeah, Justin Fields, yeah.
I think
Justin Fields is the guy in Chicago. There's no doubt about that. I mean, so they don't need a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be looking for a quarterback, so the next logical thing to do, trade it. And so I think one of those teams like Houston or one of those teams will probably try to move up and get that from them. Look, they'll probably be able to get, three, maybe four first-round picks?
Maybe, and how about some veterans too? Yeah. They might get some veterans and a couple of picks.
Yeah.
I mean, that'll be up to them to figure that out. But
I think that's smart money for them to go ahead and move up, for them to actually move back in that draft, the Bears to move back, and just sort of build the pieces and parts around Justin Fields. When you look at that Chicago Bears team, they don't really have any playmakers that really stand out at the wide receiver position, at the running back position. Their defense is not very
bearish.
It's not very
bearish. Not like what the Bears used to be.
Right.
That was the Bears used to pride themselves. I mean, go way back, all the way back. You got the monsters of the Midway. You've got Singletary and his group, and you've got Urlacher and his group. I mean, the Bears defense throughout the years has kind of been the trademark of Chicago and the trademark of football in Chicago.
Right.
And the Bears need to get back to that defense.
Yeah.
To take a little pressure off Justin Fields in that offense, in my opinion. So
I mean,
if they can get a lot for it, man, go ahead, shop it.
And that's my opinion too. I mean, their defense has stunk the last couple of years. So when you look at where they need to get to as far as building their entire roster, I think that you keep Justin Fields and you just kind of build the pieces around him. And I think a good example is when you look at Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, right? I mean, Justin Fields has a lot of Jalen Hurts type qualities in his game. He can run, he can throw. He is that classic dual threat quarterback that every team is looking for in 2023.
But he was a top pick, man. I mean, Jalen wasn't a top pick, though.
Exactly. So he has elite level attributes about his game. So now I think that if you just complement those by just adding pieces and parts around Justin Fields. Look, I mean, I like Justin Fields a lot, but now if you do that, if you're the Bears, and you do add those pieces for next year or two, now it's on Justin Fields now.
Right. Oh, sure, yeah.
Now he's got to start making some plays.
Well, he's been running the football well. I mean, he does all the things that we thought he would be. Justin Fields is who we thought he was, all right? And so he's done his job. So now it's up to the Bears to build around him. I agree with you on that one.
And he's got to take his steps in order to elevate that football team too.
Sure,
right?
there's no doubt about it. Okay, now what else is on your mind tonight? What do you got?
Oh man, I'm just buzzing with this. Just with the. I mean, how can you not just think about all these NBA, just these kind of just
NBA moves?
Oh man, I mean, I'm thinking about that as we're going through other topics. I'm just looking at all these teams out west, man. It's just the NBA playoffs can be crazy this year. This could be a really crazy NBA playoffs when you think about it. I mean, when you think about
yeah, no doubt.
The Lakers just sort of reshaping their roster. When you look at the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, these
the Lakers needed to, man. I mean, they needed to. They got to move up. They don't, they're talking about the play-in. I mean, the Lakers in the play-in. I mean, come on.
And just think about that. So they draft D'Angelo Russell. He has that silly thing happen with Nick Young where he let it slip out about Nick Young's side chick and everything.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
nice.
So he lets that slip out. They trade him away. He goes elsewhere to develop as a player, becomes a better player and everything. Now they come, everything kind of comes full circle. He comes back, and he's probably the kind of piece that team needed. I mean, Russell Westbrook just was a bad fit, and so I think when you add D'Angelo Russell to the mix and into kind of what LeBron James,
see, that's just it. LeBron will be running that team again. He'll be obviously, and Russell Westbrook, that he just doesn't seem to fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't seemed to fit anywhere, really, to think about it.
And let's be honest, as good as LeBron is at age 38, and they made the trades to overhaul the roster, so much depends on Anthony Davis. And he, it's been well documented how his injury history last couple of years has kind of derailed that team's championship hopes. So LeBron could be as great as he needs to be. D'Angelo Russell could be as great as he needs to be. That bench could come through and they could be as great as they need to be. But unless Anthony Davis starts to dominate the way that...
You got to have a big man.
Right, the way that he did probably the year they won the championship in 2020, that Lakers team isn't going anywhere.
I had some Kareem fans too. Maybe it was you. Some other people, though, that were saying, you know what, Kareem never had a three-point shot. He never had a three-point shot. He just did the twos all day long.
Imagine that, yeah.
And so anyway, those were Kareem fans. But let's move on now. Okay, here's what's on my mind tonight. Atlanta United signs a guy they hope can fill the shoes of Joseph Martinez, okay? Giorgio Giacomakis.
I'm glad you had to say his name and not me.
Giorgio Giacomakis. Well, you know what? I'm Lebanese, he's Greek, so, we're kind of along that same.
Say that name again?
Giorgio Giacomakis.
Giacomakis. Okay.
He's from Greece.
That's, man, when you get to reading those names, man, I mean, that's why you're such a pro, man. Because
well, so here's the thing now, because seriously, I asked the guys, Telemundo is also in our building. There are broadcast brothers. Yeah, Diego. So Diego helped me out. I said, hey, what about this Giacomakis guy? He goes, he's not, all that we think he is. So
let me,
and he's not going to replace the Joseph Martinez. I mean, Joseph Martinez was, obviously he created a lot of controversy and a lot of problems and things, but
he was a star.
He was a star. He won the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
The Atlanta United won the MLS Cup. I mean, he was the man.
Well, they got to get back on track this year, right?
They do.
It was rough last year, so I think that if that's the kind of move they feel like can get them. Look, and there were times last year I watched their offense, man. They struggled to score goals. They struggled mightily to score goals.
What? Well, they're young.
Yeah.
They're young, man. That's a young roster, so maybe Giacomakis can come in here and kind of be a steadying force.
Yeah.
And kind of help these young guys get along as they move along here and get those five stripes back on the MLS Cup train, man. Maybe we can get them back in because we've proven this is a soccer town. There's no doubt.
Man. Hey.
I mean, we love it.
It's a party. That's one of the things I noticed when I first moved to Atlanta. It's a
soccer
party
match.
When Atlanta United is playing, man. It's people down there. You got the
supporter section,
flowing,
man.
You got 70-some thousand people down there, man.
They sell it out.
They deserve a winner. They sell it out.
It's great, man. They sell it out. And the supporter section there, They've got everything. They've got the horns, the whistles going, the whole match. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun to go to an Atlanta United match. So
you know what
that's
else?
what's on my mind tonight. What else is on your mind tonight, Scott?
So I was looking, I was looking at Emily. I mean, there's been that story this week about the Georgia Tech first-round pick, right? The guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. The outside linebacker, Keon.
Yeah, the edge rusher.
Yeah, the edge rusher. That's pretty. I watched a lot of Georgia Tech games this year, right? I mean, I was at the games and everything like that, and they struggled a lot. So it really surprised me when I heard a guy could be a first-round pick from there, man.
Well, here's the thing, all right? You hear this about high school kids all the time. It's the same way in college. If you can play, they will find you.
That's true. That's true.
And how big is this guy?
Yeah, he's like 6'5", 286, I think I looked at yesterday.
What about his wingspan?
It's really long. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they'll teach him. Don't worry. They'll coach him up.
It's kind of crazy, because
He's fast. He's big. He can do the job.
No, and it's no disrespect. Like I sat there and I watched a few Georgia Tech games last year, and you would think if a guy was going to be a first-round draft pick in the NFL, right?
You hear his name on the loudspeaker every time. Right?
Man, you would see at least one or two times where he just wrecked the game. He went through there and knocked guys out, and went through there and knocked the ball out, scooped it up, went in for a touchdown. I didn't see a lot of those plays, but like you said, I mean, I think NFL coaches feel if they get a guy like that in their building, they can work with him and turn him into what they need him to be.
Well, sometimes if you're on a team, if the guy next to you isn't very good,
that's true,
or the guy behind you isn't very good,
that's
that
true.
Affects what happens to you. Because they'll say, you know what, we don't need to block that guy. We'll put two guys on this guy.
That's true. Everybody
and,
needs
those little things like that, that can play a role in how you might look. But anybody that watches the video of that will see that.
Right.
And they'll know, well, hey, look, this guy's getting double teamed or he's doing this. They can't handle him, so they got a double team. I mean, they know all that. I mean,
well, I tell you,
seriously, I mean, no offense to us, but what do we know? I mean, those guys, that's all they do.
Hey, there's a reason why I get paid to run my mouth and they get paid to watch film.
Exactly, man, because they
can
know.
See some things on film that I won't be able to see. So that's
exactly,
cool,
man. That's it.
And we may be sitting here right now, and he may have 14 sacks in his first season and win Rookie of the Year.
What else is on your mind tonight? Anything?
You know what? I'm just loving this week of sports, man. We got the Super Bowl coming up this weekend.
Super Bowl coming up. All right. Tomorrow night's Friday, right?
Friday night.
So we'll pick our winners tomorrow night on Friday night.
Ooh.
Should be a lot of fun.
I'm still undecided. I don't.
Well, that's why you got till tomorrow night.
I'm gonna wait right up until the buzzer because I'm so undecided on who I really feel like is going.
You're gonna wait right up until the buzzer. Okay.
I'm going right up until the buzzer. Up until I have to make a pick. There's a reason I'm not a gambler, right? It's because these decisions don't come very easy to me. I just don't know. I mean, I think the Eagles have the better roster from top to bottom, but I have a hard time betting against an alpha quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
Oh man, with the cannon. I mean, he's banged up a little bit. But you know what? I like Jalen Hurts too, man. I mean, I know he's not Patrick Mahomes, but the dude wins. He's won everywhere he's been.
He does.
I mean, they yanked on him, at Alabama, yanked him out. They needed him. He went back in.
Yeah.
And as you always point out, don't forget he finished at Oklahoma, did a great job there. So, I mean, Jalen Hurts is no slouch.
It's just so often in these opportunities, in these big games, you just see, and like I say, from top to bottom, with Jalen Hurts and their quarterback, I think the Eagles, I'm not going to say by far, but they certainly have the better roster of these two teams.
Well,
but there's always that Patrick Mahomes element that makes you go, is he going to make 2 or 3 crazy plays that's going to sort of tilt the game in Kansas City's favor? So
is Travis Kelce going to kind of just be breaking free on one of those crazy plays when Mahomes breaks contain?
Yeah.
People come up.
Yeah.
Kelce goes out.
Exactly. There's just always a possibility for Patrick Mahomes to be
when everything breaks down, that's when the defense is in the scramble mode. Like, okay, whoa, where's my guy? Where's my guy? Whoa,
Exactly.
Do you go after the quarterback? Do we do that?
And that's where I'm stumped because I just know that Patrick Mahomes element, he's such a wild card in how he plays the game. I just feel like I would have a hard time betting against him. I guess that kind of gives you a for what I'm thinking, right, as far as a prediction.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm done, man. That's it. I mean,
we're done. It's been fun, but we're done. All right. It's been fun, but we're done. Thanks so much for joining us here on ANF Plus. We thank you. We'll be back tomorrow night at 6:30. You know what? And if you have any topics or any ideas, where can they email us?
Just tag us on Instagram.
Just tag us on Instagram or Facebook.
YouTube,
say you can put a message in the chat here too, and we'll figure it out, right?
Absolutely, man.
We're
Chat
on
with us.
YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Where else? Insta,
And hey, look,
Instagram, Roku apps.
Roku.
And look, I like to argue. So send me questions and everything. Go against me. I don't care. Call me an idiot. I don't really care. Call Fred. Well, I can't speak for Fred. But,
Call me. I don't know. They already call me an idiot. What
but call
are you
me
talking
an
about?
idiot. I don't care. I love to argue. Feel free to write in, disagree with
I've been
what
on
I'm
TV
saying.
for
I'm
40
good.
years, man. People have called me every name in the book.